I don't know, it's just the club. It's hard to put a gauge on what they mean to you. I think most people love their sport, and so when you have a sport that you love, and then you get to work within it, it's kind of like a dream job where you don't feel like you're working each day. You're just coming in and doing your role. It's a bit surreal, being involved in something that you love. And I was thinking about it, even if I was to finish, the memories that you have from the past, will keep you going for a long time. And we still see some old faces who pop their head in, old team managers and that. So I see myself like that when I'm older, and you're still sort of part of the family almost. So I guess it's like a giant family. I started working with the club in '92 when it first opened, so I was a big basketball fan and bought tickets to opening night and was looking for extra summertime work, and so I put in a job application and they said there was no positions, but 2 weeks before opening night they rang me and said, you're still interested. So it was a quick yes, and I worked as an usher and did all sorts of things, maintenance and office work, and arranged. And then as the team manager, I hadn't worked for a couple of years at the Sixers and still were friends with most people there. And my son Jaden was born really, really prem and were at the hospital all the time, and so I just rang the club and said, listen, could I come down to training? I just need a distraction, just help out at training. And went from there. Phil Smythe was coaching at the time, and just worked hard and went from there. And just making sure the guys are organised and doing the things off court so they don't have to worry about all the small stuff, so they can just concentrate on playing, and the coaching group as well. So just making sure everyone's organised and on time. Yeah, they treat me like family. So just one of the boys, but yeah, very appreciative. Always, thanking me, and I don't ever feel like I'm being taken for granted or being used up. The guys are good, from coaches to players. A bit of PB&J for the players.
Yeah.
Bit of sugar and protein, carbs. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Where did it come from?
Sobes was originally started it, and slowly it's hooked onto everybody else. So there's like 5 of them that get into it now. Gets them through the game, I guess. A few of the boys started that. Sobey started that a couple of years ago with peanut butter and jelly or jam sandwiches before the game on the road. So he was the first one, and then last year I think we had 3 or 4 boys having that a few hours before the game, where they make the sandwiches. Ramon was an interesting one where he'd make it right at the last minute as we're about to leave onto the transport to the game. He'd eat it in the change room, I think, most times. It's kind of like a second family, because I have my own family at home with my kids. But then, sometimes in life you have stresses and issues, and so it's just that second family, that sort of someone, people to talk to and people to confide in, and sort of have you back when they, you need a helping hand. So that's been really, really good. Yeah, it's hard to single out favourites, because I guess you get attached to every single one of them, and that's something I always find funny when players get traded and or released, and you still remain fairly good friends with them, and yet they're playing for the opposition. So you remain friends, but then once the ball's thrown up, then you're enemies. Standouts, Jerome Randall was a pretty good friend. Luke Schenscher, I would say, would be my closest friend. We still stay in touch quite regularly, chat often. There's quite a few over the years. It's really interesting. Somebody asked me that recently. It's kind of mixed emotions for me, because for 27 years I've been going to the same venue, whether it's as an usher or admin, and then as team manager. So it's kind of like, feels like home almost, the arena. So it's kind of a weird feeling when they said, we'd be at the entertainment centre. But having seen the facilities recently, I'm pretty excited for the new beginnings and just to see what it's like. We play at some big venues around Australia, so it has that kind of big venue feel about it. But I guess the bottom line for me is I just want them to be successful. You'd hate to get to a point where the club no longer exists and you feel like you've worked for such a long time and put so much effort in, and then they're just not there anymore. So to know that when you finish up, they'll always be there. And I guess you're kind of like, somebody said to me once, you're like custodians. So the club is bigger than any individual. So no matter what you do, You're not the most important person, and you're not irreplaceable, but you do what you can to, make it great. But yeah, definitely championship. I'd love to have a championship ring. That'd be the ultimate.